Hello everyone on the internet and thanks for tuning in.
And welcome to another episode with me, Master Bushido, and with my Toku Bros, Flayvaman!
It's morphin' time!
Unfortunately for our viewers in other sides of the country, that is not Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. However, we will be talking about Super Sentai.
Wow, you sounded well formal there, but yeah, carry on.
And that is the Morphin Bracelet of Gobusters.
Yay!
So, in my very monotonous way of putting it, how did you find it?
Well, I'm going to shock everyone by actually saying I really liked it.
Yes, and to viewers, apparently there were a lot of mixed opinions on this.
Mixed opinions? No, I've got to disagree with that. Everyone hated it. In fact, the fact is, when I read these forums and Facebook comments and stuff and blogs... and
Here's my face.
I mean, the fact is, it was skipped by Saban for Power Ranger adaptation. So, you know, I'm just going to air it right now. I loved it, you know, watching it beginning to end. Even me, because I wasn't hearing the negativity about it until, like, midway maybe. And I'm just like, what's wrong with people? It's a fresh look. I absolutely loved it. It was a fresh look. It was an original take. It wasn't, you know, it smashed all the cliche, you know, it smashed all the stereotypicalness of Sentai, which again I can sort of roll with, but I just love the fact that Gobusters was fresh for a year, and then obviously following on to Kyoryuger, etc. They've then gone back to what did people like before, whereas Gobusters was really fresh, in my opinion.
Okay. Let me start this one off then. In that, in my opinion, what I thought of the build-up, the beginning of it, and so on and so forth, that the appearance of the outfit when it first appeared, the first images, I thought was very... But then when the theme turned out to be like computers and so on and so forth, like each one, they had a special ability, like super speed, super jump, super strength, and so on and so forth, which I thought was good. But at the same time,
Yeah, go on.
No, I was going to say they had a counteract, which was a computer-orientated thing, like computer freeze, but with a reason to that. Another one lacked in, like, had an insulin problem.
You mean they had a weakness?
Just like a battery loss.
Each one had a weakness, because you had Hiromu,
and the other one was
didn't like chickens. No, one of them didn't like chickens. One of and then the Blue Ranger. What was his name?
No, my point is it was overheat. It was a computer reference in some description. Like, for instance, if the red one saw a chicken, he would freeze. So that's a computer relation to, like, if you went onto somewhere, it's a computer freeze.
So basically, if you were surfing for cock and your computer crashed.
It's basically a computer crash. That's what I mean. I like that, how can I say, the way they did it, that they have a super strength, but they also had a debuff as well of some description.
Yeah, I'll agree.
I actually like that. I'm not going to deny it. Now that I've said my pros, I'll let you continue before I completely slag it off.
But this is it, because everyone else already slags it off. I've already read like what everyone else thinks, but I liked it. I mean, you mentioned the suits. I mean, alright, fine, you know, people are so used to the spandex, PVC, whatever. I think spandex, whatever. But I liked how it was a leatherette look. I loved it. And, you know, I know a lot of people didn't, but I just liked the fresh look. I mean, going off the rumours, like, prior to its airing, bearing in mind I watched it while it was being aired, I will say that, you know, I was hearing rumours that, it was actually, like Ghostbusters rather than Go-Busters. I'm just like, right, okay. But then it came out that, it's actually a series on spies and stuff. I was like, okay, this is interesting. And
that's the thing. It wasn't even spies. It wasn't even spies. Even if they were spies, they'd have more civvies than uniform.
No,
and the fact that they're uniform,
I didn't mean spies. I mean the whole special ops sort of thing, which is what they were.
Right, special ops.
Sorry, my bad. That's what I meant. And you know, I did read about it being special ops, and you know, like the whole like the bracelets and the type of weaponry they'd be using. I remember seeing it. So
I
thought, okay, it looks cool. And then, I mean, the one thing that put me off prior to watching the first episode was the description of their buddy robots, their buddy roids. I was like, okay, this is definitely the kid angle. I was thinking Bumper from Gooooooo, if anything. But I was like, okay, they're having these buddy roids. But I think, alright, on one hand, it was still a bit childish and, it's still a bit fun. So I actually like the fun element of the buddy roids, even though it might have been a bit crap. But, I mean, Nick Cheetah, meh. And then, but the gorilla and the rabbit, you had Asada Lettuce and, what was it? It was the Japanese name for, it was something Saki Banana, Gori Saki Banana or something.
It's okay, starting with Asada Lettuce.
Yeah, right? That's rabbit lettuce, yeah.
Yeah, and then you got Gorisaki Banana.
Yeah.
Right, Cheetah Nick.
Nick's meat, isn't it? And Cheetah's...
Yes, I mentioned this to you months ago, years ago even. Cheetah Niku. Niku is meat. So I love the pun that they throw in there. Okay, it's okay. I thought some of the Buddyroid characters, acting, whatever, were a bit, can't be asked. On the pro side, going back...
What do you expect?
Hang on, one sec. Just going back to the bracelet, though, just whilst you were touching on it briefly, I loved... It made me chuckle once they flipped the bracelet on. It's morphin time!
Yeah.
I was like, what? It just made me chuckle, and I'll admit, I actually didn't mind it. Going back to the Buddyroids, though, I was like...
I'm sorry, Gorisaki and Usada made me laugh. Again, it wasn't exactly a highlight or anything, but I think just like Usada Lettuce going Roger Rabbit just made me laugh. It's a bit of a nerdy thing to admit, and I think just how Gorisaki Banana would just sort of nurse. I think his name was Ryuji, Blue Buster. Yeah, like the way he just nursed over Ryuji just made me laugh. But I mean, Nick Cheetah was neither here nor there, but I kind of thought that was funny. But coming back to the suits, I actually liked the suits very much.
I didn't. It looked like
I liked how, because one thing that I also read was that you take how Gokai Silver's visor reflected his color, because normally it's just a black visor. You look at the Gobuster suits, you got red visor, yellow visor, blue visor. I like that. And even when it came to the other two, silver and gold as well, I liked it. I thought it was a very original spin.
No, because apparently two things on that. One, with their outfits, I thought it was like a very, as you'd say, leatherette form of a climber's outfit. Two, apparently they did not do their own coloured visors since Time Ranger, so I read. So, and in regards to my...
Time Ranger didn't have coloured visors. They're all black.
No.
Are you sure? I'm going to quickly look this shit up. Hold on.
You paused it, didn't you?
No, I haven't paused it.
Oh.
I know, right? I'm not even going to bother editing this out. But, alright. Well, while my thing's loading, we'll just talk a bit more. Actually, it has loaded.
What, your brain at this rate? Because I'm enjoying this now, as it is.
Right,
just because I'm right. But otherwise, no, I just felt like, because of the suspenders, dungarees, or whatever you want to call it, just to slag it off, that it felt like a kind of thing. I was like, wait.
Okay. And then... Let's see. Okay, so that's the outfits. What about... so let's touch on weapons again. Because they didn't... I'm trying to think. They didn't have their unique weapons, did they? They just had, what they'd call through on their little tappy button thing. Like, they'd get the goggles, the gun. They'd call through the jetpack at some point, didn't they? When they got the jetpack thing.
Saying that though, was the weapon accessible? I barely can remember it.
Hmm. Okay. Oh yeah, you're right about the Time Ranger thing, by the way. Yeah. Alright, let's bring everything back up. Okay, alright, we'll just move. I mean, we can't remember what the weapons were. I remember they had like a gun. Yeah, they had like the generic gun. They had like the
swords.
they had their generic gun and sword, but I don't think they had main weapons, did they?
Oh, I just remembered their swords and such. Weren't they like, because they were like secret ops and whatever, the binoculars or whatever can convert into swords or whatever, and the camera is a gun.
Yes, I remember that as well. Okay. Let's see. All right, what did you make of the What did you make of the three main characters, personality-wise and stuff?
I didn't mind the. Okay, I'll rephrase. I felt Kyoryuja did a better job in the age difference, whereas this one, there was a 4-year difference between yellow to blue.
Right. No, you're wrong. Hold on. No. Because you had the Yellow Ranger, Yoko.
She was about
16. You had Hiramu, the Red Ranger. He was 22. Then Blue Ranger was 27, somewhere around 26, 27. Because he was the much older one.
Okay, my bad then. But still, I just didn't see it. I did not see the... I just felt everyone was acting like a pile of like kids regardless. I just didn't see it.
No, I've got to disagree with that because you had Ryuji with his backstory, his connection to the gold one, Beatbuster. Yeah, you had his connection to Beatbuster, and he was sort of like he did take he was a bit of a Magic Green character. He took them like under his again, even though people might not have liked the series anyway. You had Yoko who showed her naivety and like she was doing school homework as well and just saw like her naivety and just sort of stroppiness. I thought that was quite comical. You had Hiramu, who was more about the fact that he didn't do his training in base. His sister spent most of his life shielding him from what he was supposed to be doing. But then Ryuji had the experience in full. He'd been working the longest. He remembers everybody. He remembers like the professor and his parents and everything. He's the one who's got more nostalgia. Yeah, even though it's a bit of a negative style of nostalgia, he's the one that sort of expressed more experience.
Okay, I think one word I can say they were all doing is trying.
I guess I'll admit maybe trying a little too hard, but...
I didn't want to add that in case you slagged me off, but yes, they were.
I can see that, but I'd probably say no, I felt it was alright. But I can see why someone might interpret that as trying too hard. But I liked, again, I suppose because Ryuji is actually my age, I actually did like Ryuji's character, and then I kind of chuckled at the Hiramu and Yoko characters. When it comes to, we'll touch on the 4th and 5th Ranger a bit more later, but I did like their characters as well, and I'll talk about them a little later. What did you make of the support characters in the command center?
Monotonous.
See, I'd have disagreed with you there, because again, you got the I can't remember their name. I can't remember any of their names to be fair, but you had the captain who was like a bit quirky, kooky, a bit bizarre, and then you had the guy and girl, the girl with glasses, the guy who was a bit monotonous to be fair, and they were kind of like coy in the background anyway, and I kind of like that because you got like your background workers, which doesn't often get a lot of attention in Sentai. I'm sure there's exceptions, but in general, I'm saying that's just an opinion. And again, the focus in the support characters went to the buddy roids anyway. what about the villains? Well, you got Enter, you got Escape, you got that big computer thing. I can't remember its name. Yeah, well, you got those main three, and then I think the rest were a bit meh, right? They were just monsters of the week and stuff.
I'll give you. It's like the villains was like Enter and Escape, and then it felt like the rest.
I think it was the rest. That's why, because you had. Can't even remember the name of the computer.
That's my point. It felt like. Hang on, hold me here. Bear with me.
Yeah.
The persona, the personality of Enter and Escape made this Sentai series feel like a Rider-style main villain.
Okay.
If you see where I'm going with this, in that because in Riders predominantly you see a human style of them, and that you.
And then they have like a monster form later. Is that what you mean?
Exactly.
Right.
And that they have so much charisma, so much character of some certain description that is them. And then maybe later you will see some overlord, whatever rubbish right at the end. This is what it felt like.
Okay.
Like something out of Riders, cranked down for kids, but with that kind of Rider persona.
I see where you're going with that, but again, I probably wouldn't. I didn't make the Rider comparison. To be fair, I mean, I looked at Enter, yeah, because he was basically the main villain, even though you had the computer thing in the background. I can't remember its name. The virus, metavirus install. You see, I thought Enter, in my opinion, I actually feel that Enter's actually one of the coolest generals. I mean, I liked how he was a bit suave, a bit sort of underhanded, a bit behind the scenes, and then sort of the way that it unfolded at the end, I thought was pretty awesome. I liked how he was like also, for some odd reason, I mean, it was obviously explained at the end how Enter and Escape came to be. But, alright, spoiler alert, it's a mixture of all the different employees at the Goobusters place. I can't even remember the name of the command centre. I liked how, like Enter was a mixture of all the male employees, and one of them just happened to be French. So I liked how he just sort of like go around like Gobusters. I thought that was really cool. And,
I didn't like it.
I thought I used to crack up laughing, and just how he'd have his computer metavirus install. I mean, every time I install an Adobe product that keeps updating itself, I actually think of that. I'm like, before I click on install, I'm like, metavirus install. Escape, on the other hand, yeah, sure, fan service, but yeah, I didn't get any, there was just no substance to her character. I mean, yeah, she was like,
just there as a...
It's a bit, she was a bit of a submissive to the whole computer. Again, I'm just going to look this up in a minute. She was a bit of a submissive to the computer character. So I can't, and the fact that she kept resetting really didn't do her character any development justice.
Not just that, but I mean, I'm sorry to sound harsh, but do you see it as more like she's just like a shoehorn in character, and B, like a poster chick, because she kept on kissing her guns?
Yeah, I actually got the biblical reference to her guns, which I thought was quite cool.
I didn't.
I don't think many people did, to be fair. So... Yeah, sure, she was shoehorned in. The ratings were down. They did renew the theme tune, the OP, and then they shoehorned her in. So yeah, it kind of made sense that they did do that. And I felt her character was unnecessary. I mean, one of the rumours I heard prior to her arriving was that she'd be speaking German, and I thought, oh, well, you got a French character, Enter, so it'd be quite cool to have a German character. So I was a little disappointed that there was just no German. Not that I speak any German, but yeah, I'm just like... Yeah, she could have been a lot better. They could have done a lot more with her. She shouldn't have just been fan service. But let's face it, the actress they got for her was someone from Cutie Honey or something. So yeah, so it's just a bit like, well, that's a bit unnecessary, really.
It's not just unnecessary, it was complete and utterly wasted. Or both.
Absolutely.
In your case, wasted. In our case, unnecessary.
Exactly.
And even, here's the weird thing, okay? Here's my weird thing. I'm not, if we're talking about, and I'm sure you'd agree with this, scene, set, and show stealer, enter. If I had to be honest, enter.
I like
Regardless.
Venta as a character.
Now, even if we're going to go on and on and on, right, onto the fourth and fifth rider in a minute, right, I'm just going to say this straight up. If I had to say anyone as a scene and show stealer, enter.
Sure, I actually agree. Like I said, I thought it was. I mean, even if it's the most hated series, in my personal opinion, I think he's the coolest general. I mean, yeah, I can think of other cool generals as well.
Second, third worst.
Well, I think everyone else would agree with you, but I absolutely love Enter. That's just me.
Stay tuned for the second and first worst of my list of 20 whatever.
Dude, the amount of times we go over lists. I think before we cover anything else, I will just cover the additional rangers.
Yeah.
Beat Buster, Stag Buster. Thoughts and opinion?
The first time I heard about Beaten Stag Busters, I was like, okay, so is this a cheap knockoff of Go Ranger from Hurricaneger, the Navy and Crimson Ranger? And I was like, so is this supposed to be a cheap knockoff? But when I saw that outfit as a not gold, so slightly coppered, and there was like a more glossed silver, so it's sort of like a shiny grey, but not silver. I didn't mind that outfit. I actually didn't mind it. I'll be honest, I preferred them, that they looked more like Rangers than the main three.
I'll actually agree with that, because you had because they looked a bit buggy in the eyes and stuff.
No, not even just that. It's like, okay, if you want to put it as they look like a Sentai form of Masked Riders, then fair enough. But regardless, they looked more Sentai,
Yeah, I get you. More Sentai than the main team, of course.
Yes.
Oh, I mean, I can see that, but I wouldn't have looked at it like that. I mean, I will say what I learned about them prior to it is I thought it was really cool how the fifth, Beat that Stag Buster.
Beat J Stag.
Right, yeah, Beat J Stag was actually a creation of, Beat Buster. I thought that was really clever. I thought that was a really good angle to go on.
Actually, not just that. First off, starting off with Beat Buster, his character, Jin, I thought his banter with
Ryuji.
BJ Stag. I'll be honest, I thought that was hilarious.
Especially how Stag would stand in front of him, during the whole...
I loved it. I
thought
loved
that
it.
was
And
funny as
Jin
well.
would just kick him out of the way. I'll be honest, I actually liked it.
What did you think of Jin Masato as a character?
On his own, shit.
Okay.
I'm sorry to all of a sudden go like that, but it's like it's like they're like a Morecambe and Wise, they're like the two Ronnies. You need both of them, otherwise...
I'm going to disagree with you on that, because I liked his interaction with the captain. I liked his interaction with Ryuji. He had words of wisdom for Hiromu. I actually did like Jin Masato's character. I also like the fact that he was Magi Yellow. That added some nostalgia to it.
True, but I think that nostalgia was merely for faith.
I guess. And, there was the team up... Which movie was it? When they did the team up with Go Kaija, when they had the crossover with Go Kaija, you had him in the Magi Ranger mecha, and they deliberately put they deliberately put the joke in where it's like, oh, this feels about right. You just couldn't make that up.
True, but regardless, I just love the fact, and I'm gonna touch on this for a minute. when they transform, the fact that to get Beat Buster, he takes it from... to get Beat Buster's outfit, he takes it from Jay.
Stag, yeah.
Stag.
Because it was, and again, spoiler alert again, that is because his presence in the present day was down to the fact that Stag was there. Because again, it sort of turned out that without whatever he needed from Stag, he would cease to exist. But then again, that's because his real body was in the dimension of some sort. Yeah, I absolutely love that storyline. It was very sad, and again, towards the end, yeah.
I'm not talking about their story or their character or whatever. I'm talking about merely the transformation style. That was solely unique.
Okay.
That can only be done by them. It's not like any other henshin transformation I've ever seen for a while for 6th Ranger / additional Ranger kind of thing.
Yeah.
I like that. I'll admit. The fact that he takes it off his partner to become one and then his partner becomes another, hats off to that.
Mm-hmm. Alright, what did you think of... Well, they didn't have civvies because they were part of some special ops team. What did you think of their clothes outside of henshin? I mean, because you had the main three that were... they had like the black and coloured stripe thing. You had Jin Masato who had like... He's just... he wore mainly a white coat, didn't he? And then obviously BJ Stag's a robot.
It was gold.
No. He would I'm talking about when he's not in henshin. He was like, I don't think it was quite a lab coat. I think it was just like a very fashionable white coat. Or it might not have even been white. He had like a very nice coat, I remember that much. But alright, Jin Masato to one side, you occasionally saw the main three in civvies, but it was mainly...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you're right in that with Jin Masato that he was like trying to be a bit of too much of a rock star. That, how can I say it? I'll be honest, I had to look it up to make sure that, just to remember what the hell, but otherwise, everyone else was like very monotonous.
Okay. I mean, again,
it's just black.
Well, again, that was their uniform outside of henshin, but then, I don't know, I guess they only occasionally appeared in civilian clothes, but again, it was not a big deal anyway. Alright. So yeah, I mean, again, it was very sort of Gowanja-ish, but, what you gonna do? But no, I liked Jin Masato sort of like, he did have like various civvies, and he had the whole professor vibe going on anyway. So yeah, I liked that. I'm just going through the list now. Alright, what did you make of the mecha in Gobusters?
Right. Starting with the main three, right. This is where I'm going to get a bit odd here. Red, I liked in that he can actually solo transform into his own...
Yeah, because it had like 2 or 3 forms, didn't it?
No, so each one had a vehicle form, and then they do... Well, they were anthropomorphic, and they had an animal form, vehicle form, and then they can combine into one Megazord.
I don't think so. I think because you had the blue one, which was just a bus, the yellow one was a helicopter, but Buster Ace was a vehicle and a sort of robot, and then it was the other two that combined onto it to become, a Gatai mecha.
Okay, one. Do you know what the abbreviation for their Zords were? Starting off with that.
No, I don't know.
Do you know? Okay. Let me start this off.
I only remember that Red Buster is called Buster Ace.
You love this so much, right? And yet, why is it that I remember what GT02 actually meant?
Wasn't that like Blue Buster? Right?
Gorilla Truck.
Yeah, but it wasn't an actual gorilla, was it?
Look it up. Look it up.
No, but I'm saying, right,
I
I
can
can
wait.
see, yeah, Gorilla Truck and then Rabbit Helicopter, RH03. I remember that. But I don't actually, but this is it, because those are just like the control things. Did they actually become, right, because I'm saying, did the truck actually become a gorilla? Did the helicopter
Gorilla,
actually...
yes.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that.
Go on, look it up.
No, alright, I believe you, I just remember, because I remember the Buster Ace was a motorbike and it became like a robot thing.
Yeah, Buster Ace, yeah.
Yeah, Buster Ace, yeah.
Yeah,
And
so
then...
you got CB01, which was a cheetah bike 01.
Yeah.
And RH03, which was Rabbit Helicopter.
And then there was the movie special one, the green one.
The frog.
The frog.
I'm not even going to go there, but anyway.
We'll talk about the movie. I'll talk about the movie in a bit. And then...
Now you've got...
and then you got... I can't even remember what... I remember Gold and Silver had... Beat and Stag had their insect theme and, it had a bit of a long ladder to it or something. I vaguely remember.
No, hang on. You've got one that was like a fighter jet and the other one was like a crane.
Yeah, that's what I remember. One of them being like a crane, and they did combine. They
both combined, but anyway, the point is, right, Red on its own, Red was good.
Yeah. Solely
because of the solo Buster Ace.
Mm.
Right. Megazord, pile of crap. Okay. It was a complete and utter clusterfucker that I absolutely hate.
But then further on, right along the end, right towards the end, they had their own like random lion.
Hang on. I'll get to that in a minute. Gold and Beat and Stag Buster, because technically they're not gold and silver. I actually didn't mind their Megazord, nor I didn't mind their vehicle modes either. I actually didn't mind it. I like the Megazord. I did not give a damn for the Super Megazord whatever thing. However, I did like the LB, the lion bike, the Tatagami lion. I actually like that.
Tatagami lion. I didn't. I thought it was unnecessary.
I actually like that. I thought it was nice and different.
I like the little suitcase thing they had to carry around, but that was pointless.
But right, first off, lion I liked. For the fact that Buster Ace as well can ride the lion, I thought was brilliant. And I actually thought that lion bike made me think of a video game reference here. Cloud Strife's Final Fantasy VII bike. Oh, from Advent Children anyways, but that's just me.
Oh, I've seen Advent Children, but I have no idea what you're talking about. That was like a million years ago. Yeah, alright.
You're going to get so much negs from that, for the fact that you don't even know what about Final Fantasy VII or whatever, but you're going to be...
I've seen Advent Children, I just don't remember anything about it. No.
Anyway, you've lost people. Right, on a different note, I will definitely say that I think the whole Megazord issue was a mere franchise, was merely for just the toys and something unique. I honestly think
to be fair, Go Busters did very poorly merchandise-wise.
The fact that they even broke tradition and making it a unique parts format, I'll admit that's good as a unique, but never should have been done.
Oh, well, it is what it is, right?
Otherwise, if I had to give my opinion of as a whole, if we're wrapping this as a whole, no.
All right. If we're gonna start wrapping, what did you make of the general story of Go Busters?
Well, the problem is I don't even remember many, or much of it to a point that I can't even give an input of it apart from sheer boredom.
Ouch. You see, I really, I remember the story. I really like the story. I mean,
Do you
I
even
think that
remember it?
I think they just threw in the whole it was based around Christmas thing just to add to the emotion. I thought that was quite funny, but I actually felt, I had the feels for it, man. And just
No.
seeing how it unfolded, seeing how they were trying to get from into the whole dimension thing. It had a bit of a sci-fi element. I really liked the story. I mean, there was no real morale to it, was there? I'm just
Honestly,
trying to.
I didn't see any
Well, no, because
morale or
like
nothing.
because you had
I
like Hiramu with the
just,
passion, and that was what drove the morale side of the show. But all right, I mean, sort of moving on quickly again. When you're looking at how I thought this was quite a groundbreaker for Sentai, I really liked how the original. I mean, all right, you had like your stereotypical settings like the command center, and some of where the fight scenes were. But the very first episode where you see where enters bases, I thought it just looked absolutely amazing with the computer skull character thing. I think, and where you've obviously got, where it's obviously paying massive homage to Power Rangers. Again, I can't remember. I've spent this whole episode for not remembering the name. But obviously, in Power Rangers RPM, you've got a character called Venjix, I think. You got like that sort of doomsday, supercomputer in that. And you got to remember, it's a massive homage to Power Rangers anyway. It's Morphin Time, and all the other sort of the way, like the fact that the Rangers themselves had powers, although, like you pointed out earlier, they've got their counter weakness. I also liked, like sort of how you got the alternative dimension, which I think has been done in Sentai enough times. But I just liked this sort of post real modern look to that, because I think when you look at the '90s versions of alternative dimensions, it was just like they just switched the lights off or something. Whereas here they were actually able to add some decent CGI. I mean, I think Magi Ranger had a bit of that as well, but I kind of think they also made it more about flash lighting. So I really liked Go Busters for that as well. All right.
set-wise, I'll
Mm.
touch then if I had to admit that the command center, it was simple. I'll
Mm-hmm.
give it that, it was simple. For the villains, I couldn't give a tosh of it. For the regular fighting scenes, it was very, again, generic, stereotypical, yada, 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 yada. I just think, as a whole, because you had to remind me of the good bits, that they were good bits.
Right.
But I had to be reminded. I will say that now.
Okay.
So I will say that if only see this if you are a hardcore Sentai fan, but once with coffee.
That's where I disagree. I'd probably say that if you're getting bored of how Sentai currently is, and this is actually a little different. I'm not saying that people would like it, but it's definitely different. And it got slammed for being different, which is what I think makes me sad, panda. And I mean, one thing, tough, sort of moving on again, looking at something at choreography, I kind of thought, I mean, for a few episodes' time, when we were talking about Goonja, Goonja had a lot of CGI in its choreography. I kind of felt that Go Busters took that up a level, bearing in mind that that the characters had their powers outside of their henshin. So I
Saying
liked
that,
that.
saying that about the powers, yes, they cranked it up to 20 and then to 30 with the super modes.
The super modes. Yeah.
The fact that they, how can I say, merged themselves with their buddy roids, I thought was like, wait, what? It's like they beefed themselves up. They tonked themselves up by like 50 million. I thought was like,
50
nah.
million, I'd have probably said over 9,000.
I just like even the girl got butched up like
Lols.
outwards, and I'm like,
Yeah,
no,
that was nuts.
I did not like it. I did not like it. Again, you had to remind me of their superpowers and the CGIs of it to a point that it reminded me. Yeah, okay, there were fairly okay CGIs, but
Right.
okay, that's it. Coffee. You need coffee with this series.
All
Or
right.
any energy drink. Seriously, if you really are that committed, get a can of Red Bull, a
All
case
right.
of Red Bull even.
All right. Well, since you really had a lot of disdain for it, what did you make of the appearance of Gavan in this series? Was it in this
I don't
series?
even remember. You had to remind me the fact that he was
No,
even
was
in
it
there.
Gavan? I'm trying to remember.
It was the new
Yeah.
Gavin. It was the new
Yeah,
generation
and then
Gavin.
they did a versus film with Gokaiger. Right. So, what did you make of the appearance of them in that?
Okay, one, just touching on that Gokaiger one, that they actually used the original Gavin, which was good, but we'll get to that later because I saw that movie and it was good. Two, the fact that they brought in the next gen / new generation's Gavin, I thought was just why.
Okay.
It was a nice waking up for about 10 minutes. Let's put it like that.
Well, you see, because it was the first, for me personally, it was the first time they did that. Because again, they had, because they then did it with Gaim. So I liked it. I thought, I actually did like the crossover. I thought it was a good addition to the series.
I thought
I will
it was
say,
a
I
good
then
waking
ended
up
up
without
watching.
Red Bull for about 10 minutes. That's about it.
But then, I'll be honest, I then ended up watching the film and I didn't like it.
Oh well.
Yeah. Alright. Alright, so did you see... Right, so let's see. They did... they did the team up with Kyoryuger, which we already covered. They did a team up with Gokaiger, and then they had their own movie with the Frog. And then they had a DVD with Beatbuster. I'm assuming you didn't watch any of these.
Forgive me, I'm just going to be texting while you keep on going on about Gobusters and their movies and so on. So,
Brilliant.
go on.
Okay, well, I vaguely remember the DVD, and...
Also known as crap.
I vaguely remember it. I remember watching it, I just don't remember what it was about. The movie with the frog, I kind of thought was a little unnecessary. They could have done a little more with that. But I did like the team up with Gokaiger. I thought it was fun. They could have done a little more with it. And let's see. Again, I like the whole Magiello reference for Jin Masato. And, I thought it was like a nice... Again, unlike the Kamen Rider Wars film, the Kamen Rider Wars, you're bringing back characters after a year with the team-ups. So I really liked how Gokaiger was brought back after a year. And, they did the whole dark thing, which was really cool. So I liked... Again, I also like... And, apart from this, but this was when they also did the first, superhero Taisen film. And that was actually really good. Compared to Taisen Z, which I thought was quite poor, I actually really did like Kamen Rider Taisen. Am I doing this the right way around? Yes, I am. Yeah. So that's me summing those up.
Oh, you're done?
Yeah, I'm done. But okay, so we can wrap this up now, bruh.
Oh, really? Wow, great. Right. So in your honest opinion...
Yeah.
In your honest opinion, what on earth did you feel about
Gobusters?
Because I've already said it about 10 years ago what I felt about Ghostbusters. Anyway.
Well, alright, just to wrap it up, I will say I liked how it ended, it was a bit cliche, it was a bit Harry Potter Matrix-y-ish in that, I can, to defeat me, you have to defeat yourself, hero move. I kind of
It's
thought...
how I felt about, how it ended, how Ghostbusters ended. Finally.
Did you just say Ghostbusters? Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. you know, I thought it was a nice end to the series. You know, and then they had their Dobotsu Go Kaiju, you know, their V Cinema release, which I kind of felt, you know, they were basically ripping at themselves for being different, which I kind of thought was a bit sad. You know, I watched it and I was like, all right, they're clearly taking the piss out of like stereotypical Sentai, whereas anyone who's watched Go Busters knew that they were actually trying to break ground. Just maybe a product like Go Busters was too soon for the market, which again I've totally felt. So the fact that they then did this whole cheesy, we're a cheesy Sentai thing, I thought was very disappointing. But I could appreciate what, you know, the sort of market that actually is out there, whether it's Japan or whether it's the rest of the world. Again, I just felt that the world just wasn't quite ready for Go Busters. And I'm done.
Anyway, join us next week, or next time even, for another edition with me, Master Bushido, and with my Toku Bros Flayvaman!
Fist through the cam.
Fist through the cam!
See you next time.